Alex, and it's time for the Handed Down Beatdown podcast. I'm your host, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Koba. Say hi, Koba.
Cobra! I am back once again in the ring with my friend Alex. It's great to be back once again. Glad you could join us.
Definitely excited, and with SummerSlam in the rearview mirror, we look forward to the last PLE under the Peacock affiliate with WWE and the Clash of Paris as they look to move to ESPN at the end of this year and next year with WrestlePalooza in September in San Diego. What are your thoughts about the move with WWE and ESPN?
So first off, shitty fucking name, WrestlePalooza. Bad name. That is a terrible, terrible name for PLE, especially the first name for PLE under the House of Mouse. All right, damn it. If there was any wonder why people are leaving ESPN in droves as far as watching them, there's one reason right there. You bring in a company, if you bring in WWE and you offer them the first PLE you have is WrestlePalooza. Fuck me. Why not bring back the In Your House, In Your House pay per view name? To be fair, that'd be kind of awesome. But anywho, I think it's a terrible name. I also think it's terrible that ESPN owns WWE, considering we remember when the WWE network was pitched, it was $9.99 a month, and now it's going to be $30 a month because of greed, corporate greed by Triple H, who has hitched his wagon to famous women respecter and definitely on the Epstein list, Pumpkin Spice Palpatine, Donald Trump. So I think it's a bad move.
Definitely agree. As a kid, I grew up watching the WWE Network. Had my dad pay for it, watching all the old pay per views, the new ones, and watching all the TV shows they had because I thought they were fun to watch. And when the WWE Network ended and they moved to Peacock, I was like, okay, I can work with this because I could afford Peacock. But now, I'm not sure I can even afford to watch the events. I had to pick and choose if I want to
Yep.
watch Mania every once in a
Let,
while, watch the Rumble or something.
let's break this down. Let's break this down a minute. Because WWE aren't the only ones guilty of moving to a streaming platform and charging up the ass, okay?
Yep.
The NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, Amazon, Netflix, take your pick. And if you add all those subscription services together where we get all our favorite sports, it's a disaster. It is anti-consumer. Because
Definitely.
because let me teach some basic economics. There's a thing called want and a thing called need. If you have more need, less want, then that's a problem. If you have less want, more need. If you have a less want and more need, then that's an issue as well. However, I will say this also: WWE wants more money. All right. It's clear that the merger with TKO has not been very fruitful. It is clear that what they're doing to offset the Trump tax, because clearly that's what this is, the raising of the prices is because of the tariffs, the Trump tax on us, the people who consume media and go to the wrestling events. So they're trying to, because it costs what? Probably, what was it? $5,000 for a nosebleed section seat to WrestleMania this year in Vegas?
I think so, yeah.
Who the fuck can afford that? We've discussed this before. But it's disgusting and gross. I wish, I wish that this will eventually wake people up to realize that, hey, this is becoming too much. We don't need to pay this, and it reduces the cost of it. It reduces house show attendance and cost, reduces live event house attendance and cost. Like, this needs to wake people up.
Yeah, to definitely agree. And I'm wondering how they're going to go about this next year. Because Nick Khan, I think, is crazy. People are gonna pay the $30. No, we're not. No,
No, we're not. No, we're not.
but
No, we're
it's
not because if you're gonna think that we're gonna choose food, just a little bit extra food over a WWEPLE, you're sorely mistaken. Because let's also say this: this does the opposite effect of what the WWE Network actually did. Because if you remember the pay-per-view era, it cost almost $50-$60 to order a pay-per-view. All right, $50 to $60, and if you didn't have a VCR or recording device, that was only one view, and you want to watch it again, you can't. Hello, hello, Billy. Is that you?
Yes.
Hi, Billy. Welcome
Hello.
to the Handed Down Beatdown.
Howdy.
Alex, ask Billy the question.
what are your thoughts of the WWE and the ESPN partnership for next year that's going on after the Clash of Paris being their last pay-per-view event on Peacock?
I don't know. I really don't know about it. Mainly because, yeah, at least you buy the subscription from Peacock, you get the event. But they're marking it up for, putting on a price, how the UFC did it with their ESPN deal, which I don't think I think that's more or less an ESPN thing. I think for price tagging it personally. But honestly, if it has to be that way, it has to be that way. But honestly, I'm gonna just save my money for the big four, like Rumble, SummerSlam, possibly a couple NXT events. It's because I'll be streaming NXT
Mm-hmm.
and WrestleMania, obviously.
And and like I said before, Billy, I know you missed it. The $30 a month is pretty damn close to the pay-per-view era. When it was actually $50 to order a pay-per-view from WWE.
Wait,
So
hold
that's
on.
how bad this is.
So it's $30 a month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't include your stream. That doesn't include the package that you bought for ESPN Plus, right?
I don't believe so.
So basically, if you still have ESPN Plus, you could still kind of get it for within your package.
I think so.
I
think so.
think so.
Okay, I have ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
The only reason that I have ESPN Plus is just to catch up on all the 30 for 30s.
Pretty much. But my point still stands is that this is bringing the price tag dangerously close to the pay-per-view era, and it was egregious back then.
Definitely. Moving on from that, former AEW World Champion MJF showed up at the Mexican Arena League to challenge Mystico for the CMLL title, which he did win because he showed up at Forbidden Door against Hangman Adam Page with it. What are you guys' thoughts of wrestlers of AEW, WWE going outside with the Arena Mexican Leagues and Lucha Underground and GCW, all that stuff? Is that a good thing for the brand, or is it gonna make it worse for them because of the wear and tear.
It's a goddamn Cold War. What the fuck do you expect? Sorry.
It's all right. But Billy, again, next time, don't do that.
GG's. I
Yeah,
forgot.
watch it. It's all right. It's all right. Hold on. So I will say this: I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum here. I do think it's a good thing for pro wrestling. Not necessarily a good thing. Not necessarily great for the wrestlers, but good as far as wrestling wars do not satisfy anyone per se. We now live in an era where we actually care about these wrestlers. We don't give a damn about the tribal politics of wrestling. In years past, we give a shit about the pro wrestlers in the ring because they're human beings. They're human beings, and we want them to succeed no matter where they go or what they do. It's why breaking down that wall into forbidden territory, WWE going to TNA and vice versa, AEW going to New Japan, vice versa, AAA to WWE, CMLL, AEW, whatever. I think it's a great thing for the wrestling business because we need to get out of the tribalism of wrestling past. It sucked back then, realistically, because we love pro wrestling. We do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like we've seen this a lot with big corporations incorporating their own wrestlers into other outside companies that don't really get TV time because you're not gonna watch AAA wrestling unless you're a fan of Mexican wrestling. You're not gonna watch GCW unless you're a fan of John Moxley because he was in GCW for a long time. You don't watch these smaller companies go to these events because who honestly cares about the smaller, indie companies that built up your player wrestler
Hold up.
nowadays?
Above the breaks, I care about the indies. I care about the indies. I think the indies are necessary as well. I don't think it's wrong to smack them down because there is a flavor for indies, because sometimes, as someone who has attended an indie event before, it's actually kind of fun, and you actually get to meet the wrestlers, when they just get out of their comfort zone. It was the first time I actually held an actual title, and I was 10.
I have never been to any event.
I recommend it. It's an interesting experience.
Yeah. Still advocating for NXT to host one of their PLEs in Knoxville.
That'd be great.
That would be fun, and however, I would have to play negotiator with my boss to get a day off from that.
And maybe hitch a ride with friend of the channel, Kevin Von Magnum.
Kevin Von Magnum's on the other side of Tennessee. I would have to. If he was closer, if he was in my side of the state, then it would be a lot easier, but no.
Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't have. I did when I didn't have a job, but I don't have any desire at this present time to go down to Memphis with my Uncle Mike. So no desire at this present time.
Yeah.
Although I'm not saying it's not off the table.
I'm gonna hit the road now, y'all.
Billy, thank you for joining us in the ring.
No problem.
Now it's time to take you. Yep.
And
now it's time to take you over top rope.
Oh God, no!
There we go. That was fun. All right.
Definitely agree. And with the controversial return at SummerSlam of famous women respecter Brock Lesnar, the WWE is in question now, bringing back Alberto Del Patron, formerly known as Alberto Del Rio, and another famous women respecter, Vince McMahon, to the TKO and WWE scene. What is your opinion about bringing all of these famous women respecters and criminals back to the WWE scene?
Well, it's clear that the WWE doesn't give a flying fuck whether these former wrestlers are famous women respecters or not. It's clear they don't have any more filter or chill, especially considering that Triple H and Linda McMahon pal around and are a part of the administration of a famous women respecter and pedophile, Donald Trump. So, there's that. So it's clear to me they don't care. They don't care about They don't care about character. They just want to create results. They want to create shock factor. Personally, I wouldn't have a famous women respecter and Mark Marrow's cock, Brock Lesnar, in WWE at all. I think his time has officially passed. They're only bringing him in because John Cena is going through his greatest hits one more time. So that stinks. Alberto El Patron, aka Alberto Del Rio, famous women respecter, piece of shit. I think he doesn't deserve to be a part of this pro wrestling mechanization, at all. I think he should be finding a career somewhere else, because it's clear wherever he goes, whether it be TNA, AAA, wherever, he burns that bridge so fast he might as well piss on the ashes. That's how I feel about Alberto El Patron. He is a piece of shit, and that's not just my words. That's the words of many people he's worked with.
Yeah, definitely agree, and I feel like the SummerSlam return of Brock Lesnar, I think, was a TKO idea and not a Triple H idea, because nobody in that building knew he was going to come back. I don't think Triple H even knew that was happening. I think it was all TKO behind the scenes, trying to get shock factor, trying to get views, trying to get people to watch the show again.
I disagree. I think Triple H knew 100% that he was bringing in Brock Lesnar. And the reason why I say that is because how nonchalant he was in the press conference. And speaking of nonchalant, famous women respecter, Vince McMahon. He should just enjoy retirement. Dude, just enjoy your forced retirement. Enjoy your exile. Stay the fuck away from any wrestling promotion at all, or any other promotion. I mean, personally, I think you should stay 50 feet away from any WWE live event. So I don't care. I don't care if you are being welcomed back to open arms by your son-in-law. I don't give a shit. You should stay the hell away from the wrestling business, because you're done. You were done 3 years before the scandal even happened. All right. So yeah, Vince, your time is done. Your time is cooked. You're brown bread. You're yesterday's news. Get out of here.
Because my biggest problem with this is we have wrestlers like Cora Jade, Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, and all getting released and all getting no pushes, no championships, but people that are in sexual assault scandal lawsuits like Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon can just nonchalant walk into the building like, I want to come back, and like, oh yeah, we can do that, and then they leave for another 6 months, and then have Karrion Kross cry doing a YouTube video talking about how they disrespected the absolute fuck out of him after his NXT run, because they didn't know what the hell to do with him, because they're too busy big booking Brock Lesnar and John Cena and bringing back Vince McMahon and trying to make McMahon look all not bad. He's not a terrible human being like he was 20 years ago. He's always been that person. And it's not.
Vince McMahon should have been treated like freaking Chris Benoit. That's it.
Definitely. And with Clash in Paris looming close as we finally figure out what the card is, I want to talk about the big boy match, the one that Seth Rollins hates the most because of the reaction with Adam Pearce finally blowing some balls and making it official between CM Punk, main event Jey Uso, and L.A. Knight. Yeah. For the World Heavyweight Championship. Who do you think will come out on top of this? And do you think that division will get involved and have Seth retain?
You know who I think is going to win the title, and I could be 100% wrong here, but I think it is time for the megastar to shine. L.A. Knight. Yeah. The fans want it. L.A. Knight has been craving it. You know, could you imagine the pop that would happen? L.A. Knight overcomes the odds and defeats everyone. I think it would be great, especially for the business and the title scene. Give it to the megastar L.A. Knight. It's clear that he is capable of being a champion. He has the shoes of a champion. You need, just give him the ball and let him roll, and you will see just how far he could let that ride roll. Because it is also clear to me as well, you have given him these great stars to wrestle against, and he has shown up time and time again. It is time to give him the belt, give him the title, give him the push, and ride it all the way to WrestleMania because it'll be hype.
I'm probably the biggest LA Knight mark on the planet. I pushed him at Money in the
Yeah.
Bank when he lost. I've been bitching and complaining and yelling at Triple H to give LA Knight the championship and stop giving it to Seth Rollins because, my God, he has enough championships at this point. But he refuses.
Yeah.
I don't know what he needs to do, but this is the one opportunity Triple H can do to make me not question his control of this company. That's not TKO chokeholding him to make Seth Rollins champion every 6 months because they need big people on the brand. LA Knight is your big branded person. LA Knight is the guy. He's being pushed and pushed and pushed to be thrown back to the bottom of the totem pole every single time. CM Punk's too old for championship. Jey Uso cannot win a single championship to save his existence. LA Knight needs this. And LA Knight needs to win this at Clash of Paris because I could give a less of a damn about Seth Rollins and his vision that is not working for me because it's two big-bodied people and he also take himself.
And besides, and here's a little fancy booking for you. If LA Knight wins the title, I have him going all the way to WrestleMania, and his WrestleMania opponent would be Braun Breaker.
Ooh.
A little bit of fancy booking for you, Alex. What do you think about that?
I do like that. I feel like LA Knight has the energy and the self-esteem to keep up with the fast moving of Braun Breaker because apparently Braun Breaker can never stay down because he's just has the dog in him, and LA Knight also has dog in him, in my opinion, to keep up with him. So give me that. Give me LA Knight to get the championship so I can stop complaining about it.
No, complain about it more because it creates content.
Oh yeah, I'll do it until I'm here praising Triple H for giving him the championship and not bowing the knee to TKO and be like, yeah, Nick Khan, I'll do anything you want because, money. No. LA Knight is your money. LA Knight is your megastar. He was your Money in the Bank until you ruined it. He was the Money in the Bank.
Right. All right. Anything else on excuse me. All right.
We're going to address the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that AEW had. I watched the end of it. I watched the lights out steel cage match with no stipulations. But we're going to talk about the returns of Forbidden Door. We had Jimmy Hayter And Wardlow finally came back and joined the Don Callis family. And Jamie Hayter, I believe, is shooting for Toni Storm and that women's championship because she's been craving that championship since the moment she returned, I think, last year. But she has had injury bugs off the walls to get to the point she is now. What do you think about Jamie Hayter and Wardlow coming back today at Forbidden Door? And where do you think they're going past Forbidden Door?
Well, they can only go up from here. Because, let's face it, last time they used Wardlow, it was unsuccessful. They tried to book him as this, like, monster, climbing the gauntlet to try to get MJF, and then it sputtered out like helium out of a balloon. I don't have any opinion about Jamie Hayter, but I do have to say this. You want to talk? There's a thing that's been bothering me about AEW recently. I know this is not in your cards right now, but it has to do with one of the most viral superstars ever, and that is the very nice, very evil Danhausen. Danhausen has not wrestled for AEW since 2023. Since December 2023 with Ring of Honor. And apparently he has asked Tony Khan to release him. Tony Khan has flat out refused to release Danhausen. But he's not using Danhausen. It's like, so if you're not going to use him, why are you keeping him under contract? It makes zero sense. I mean, it's not like Danhausen is going to appear on WWE programming in the Royal Rumble and win the world title. That's not Danhausen. Danhausen is a comedy character. He's excellent, by the way. His in-ring talent is good. Everything about him is good. I just don't understand. I just don't understand the thought process of keeping talent that you have no plans to use, and who has requested his release because you're not using them.
Yeah, I actually forgot Danhausen even existed until you brought him up because I haven't seen him, like you said, in 2 years. And I was a big fan of Hookhausen when he was tag teaming with Hook. I loved that. I loved his spot with Darby Allin, and Orange Cassidy was funny. I feel like he is a Santino Marella-esque character on AEW that's not being utilized as Santino Marella was. Santino Marella was a communicator, but he was winning championships and being in the ring, and now he's running TNA like a godsend because TNA's
Santino Marella almost won the world title. All right, Santino Marella almost won the world title. That's all we gotta say.
Yeah, and Danhausen, I feel like Danhausen needs to go to either TNA or go to NXT because I feel like those brands.
I was about to say he'd be a great fit in NXT. Imagine Joe Hendry and Danhausen. That's all I gotta say. Imagine those two.
Definitely, and I feel like we said this many times before you listen to the show, that Tony Khan has an oversaturated roster of wrestlers he cannot book because they're either on television too much, they're injured too much, or they're all old 40-year-old WWE superstars that have nothing left in the tank, aka Chris Jericho and God knows who else, because Chris Jericho is 45 years old and cannot wrestle with anything. And Tony Khan's like,
Paul White's under contract and isn't being used for fuck all.
No, because he was a comedic relief when Cody Rhodes was there, and then he was a commentator, and then tried to come back again to wrestle, and then his back's too weak, so he left.
Yeah. Oh, and Edge is still wrestling for however long that is. He returned with Christian. You know,
So it's just
they're not doing anything with the Dark Order, even though a lot of people hate the Dark Order. You know, it's like they're centering everything on the Young Bucks, and I'm going to say this: I fucking hate the Young Bucks. Their shtick has gotten very stale. I don't think they're doing anything with Briscoe.
oh yeah,
I don't think they're doing anything with him. Um, who I think he should be a world fucking champion.
I've been pushing for Chris Statlander to be the world champion for I don't know 3 years at this point. Chris Statlander
Yeah,
deserves to be world champion, and it's Tony Storm, or it's going to be Britt Baker, or it's going to be
Mercedes Moné, who fucking sucks.
9 titles from Mercedes Moné, and she's TBS champion on AEW, who just retained today, I think. Oh no, Tony Storm retained this today. But I'm like, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Athena, give them world championships. Push them. Don't push Tony Storm or Mercedes Moné or Dr. Big Bay. We've seen them. We've been there and done that. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We got away from Forbidden Door.
No, you're good. Like I said, I didn't watch it. I turned it on for the Lights Out Steel Cage match, which was Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Ibishi, and Tanahashi against the Young Bucks, Jon Moxley, Cardio, and Gabe Kidd. Which, if you guys don't know what Lights Out match is, it's no stipulations, win by pinfall submission, and it was inside of a steel cage. So there was blood and broken things everywhere. And I do want to address something about that. If you have anything to add before I go on.
I'm going to say this. I think they need to cool it with the blood. I think they need to cool it a little bit more with the blood. Because let's face it, it's becoming too much of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
They need. That's why I say they need to be cool the blood. Not saying that blood should go away, but they're using it so much that now it's like when it happens, it doesn't have that shock value that it has, that shock factor. Because let's talk about the greatest blood spot in the history of wrestling. All right, WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is the greatest blood visual ever. Because not only was there was a no blood policy, there was no blading policy, I should say. No blood policy at the time. There was also there was an initial shock value because of how it was delivered. It told a story. Whereas everyone's just pouring blood out for the sake of pouring blood. It's that's why I'm saying it's time to cool it with the blood. It's time to cool it. I'm not, like I said, and again, I'm not saying take it away. I'm just saying cool it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And after the match, Team Will Ospreay did win by pinfall. The Death Fighters went after Will Ospreay and locked the cage doors so they could beat up Will Ospreay, and they basically have ridden off Will Ospreay off television. Jon Moxley put a chair in between his neck and basically crushed his throat with a steel chair.
They Pillmanized his neck. Okay.
Yeah, so Will Ospreay has basically been running off AEW TV with winning no world championships. With the amount of 5-star matches the guy produces, he's had 0 world championships in AEW as far as I'm aware. I believe he's not won any championships in AEW, which is disgusting with how massive Ospreay is in the UK and in America. Like, they were chanting Ospreay's name in that arena because they were in the O2 arena in the UK. And they refused to put a championship belt on him. And it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Anything else to add before we wrap this up?
I think I've spent all I can, man.
With that being said, this episode is brought to you by the affiliates over at Duke Cannon Supply Company. If the man in your life cannot get over the smell of your pumpkin spice latte this fall, well, maybe you should get him the pumpkin spice latte soap so he can forever smell like your pumpkin spice latte coffee. And if you do, make sure you use the link in our bio when you're buying your pumpkin spice
And
latte soap.
And if you don't want to be a basic ass by buying a basic ass brick of soap that is the pumpkin spice latte available for limited time, they have other things as well. They have their top smeller line with the supply drop, the bestseller bundle, and the scent seeker, and the proper 4-pack, and the everlasting trio with big ass bricks of soap, with pucks of soap, with shampoo pucks, with with body wash, with the thick body wash, with the shampoo, and also if you go above $50, shipping is free. So once again, head over to Duke Cannon by using our affiliate link in the bio. Show the channel some love. Duke Cannon, thank you.
Definitely. And I would like to talk about our other podcasts that you can find on YouTube and everywhere you can get your podcast from. The Lap Down, a racing podcast with Greg. The Daytona just wrapped up yesterday, the regular season finale before we hit the playoffs. So we'll be excited to talk about playoff racing here soon. The Dirt and Two podcast, our baseball podcast with our friend Kat. And baseball is wrapping up regular season as well. The playoffs are a month away. Make sure you catch up on the podcast before we talk baseball, fall baseball, my favorite time for the baseball season.
We also have Biscuits and Penalties. Biscuits and Penalties, our hockey podcast that you host, Alex.
Yes, and we're entering season 2, and I'm definitely excited to get into all the action in October when we kick off the hockey season.
Yep.
At the Hard Count of Football podcast, entering season 4 next Thursday night, we kick off the 2025 season. So get ready.
Stop. You confuse things. Thursday night is actually our college football podcast, Passing the Pigskin, which we share with our friend Billy, who was on the podcast earlier today. So check that out. That's our college football podcast. The Hard Count is Saturday night. Again, we are entering season 4 of the Hard Count. So, a little bit of correction there.
Thank you for that. I get the order mixed up in my head sometimes.
We have so many shows.
Yeah, it's a lot. But if you guys want to check out any of those podcasts, go to the Handed Down Sports Media YouTube page or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. We appreciate everyone who clicks on our video and watches our channel.
We're also on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're on TikTok, and we do have a Patreon for another way to support the channel, other than our affiliate links, which are in the bio down below.
And that being said, thank you all for listening. That is the show tonight with the Hand Down Beatdown podcast. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
Thanks for watching, everyone.